I'm Lynette Zang, and welcome to the Lynette Zang YouTube channel, where we support community, which is you guys, and sound money globally. And we've got to get into sound money, because if you think last week was over, that everything's covered up and everything's hunky-dory, you really need to think again, and you don't even have to look a little bit beneath the surface. But you remember, in order to tame this inflation that the central banks didn't cause, goodness gracious, what has to happen? Well, it's not the gazillions of dollars in CEO pay and the 1%er pay. It's the masses pay. So, what does the Federal Reserve have to say about this? Well, U.S. job market is slowing, but it can't let it slow too much. Oh no, because you have full control, right? Do we see how little control the central banks actually have with this battle between the markets and the central banks going on? I'm going to be doing a video on that next week. But firms so far, this is according to the Federal Reserve, firms so far are slowing hiring, not cutting permanent jobs. Remember, my father used to say to me, do what I say and not what I do. Now, he was mostly talking about driving, but you listen to what they say, you watch what they do. Is this the truth? I don't think so. I don't think that firms so far are just slowing hiring. Yes, they are doing that. It's harder to find a job, but they're not cutting permanent jobs? Because if that's the information that the Federal Reserve is acting on, we're in deep, deep doo-doo. And part of it is, gee, do you think they might ever make a misstep? They make them all the time. These people are not gods. They are human beings, and their job is to keep us in the system, keep our wealth in this kind of garbage so that they can completely inflate it away. Remember, you know what the true value of any fiat money, government debt-based money is? Just look on the Federal Reserve Education Department chart on purchasing power, and what do you come up with? Just like the 4,800 currencies before that, absolutely zero. Okay, so let's just take a look at what's happening. Intel suffers worst stock decline in decades after grim forecast. Oh, wait, what? They plan to cut more than 15% of its workforce. Now, aren't those permanent jobs? Oh, what about Dell? Dell workers and sales team reorganized with new AI-focused unit. We are getting leaner. They will be cutting more jobs. So I don't know what Daly is talking about, because these look like new job losses to me. How do they look like to you? Well, oh wait, there's more? Stellantis to cut as many as 2,450 jobs at the Michigan truck plant because the demand for that truck isn't there. Cisco paring thousands of jobs in new cutbacks. But of course, they've been doing a lot of layoffs and job cuts. So you've got to ask, with corporate earnings falling, is this really, and these are not the only job cuts, that's been happening for a while, so I don't know what Daly is talking about, because her lips are moving, she must be lying. I'm sorry, but here's the evidence, and I could go on and on and on and on and on about this. But with corporate earnings falling, is this just the beginning of massive job layoffs? How do people feel about that? Well, let's see. In a recent layoff anxiety survey, 7 in 10 workers are bracing for job cuts. And these were the key findings. 70% of employees are bracing for layoffs. Gen Z workers rate their job security the lowest in any generation. 57% reporting layoff anxiety. If laid off today, 40% of workers said they would run out of money within 1 month. 1 month. And 24% they would run out within 2 weeks. So the continuing claims, yeah, that keeps going up, and so does unemployment. Now, can the central bank manage the speed of this? I don't think so. Higher for longer. They're looking to cut those interest rates. But when they cut those interest rates, is that going to be a good thing? Probably not. But they don't want you to panic. So it'll probably be a 25 basis point, a small cut. Because this does not look likely to be any level of a soft landing, which has never, ever, 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 ever happened, this soft landing scenario in history. And they don't really want a soft landing anyway. They want a big, bold crisis that scares the crap out of you so that you will agree to anything that they want you to do. That's why it is critically important for us all to be as independent and self-sufficient as possible. And how do you do that? Well, you create security in food, water, energy, security itself, barterability, which for me is silver, wealth preservation, for me is gold, community, which is what's going to save our butts, quite honestly, both locally and globally, as well as shelter, because these are the things that we all need in order to be self-sufficient and independent. And frankly, I've been working on this. I knew the system died in 2008, and I've been working on this. I bought this property in 2010, and I bought the bug out location in 2021. I think that's how long it took me to find these places. And while I feel more ready than anybody else I know, you've got to come together in community, because we don't have the luxury of time that I've had over these last number of years to get ready. So let's just continue on, because these are continued claims, and this is insured unemployment. Insured. The benefits can last up to 26 weeks. What happens after that 26 weeks? The savings isn't there. 1 month, 2 weeks, that's what most people will have if they get laid off, if they get fired. That is a huge problem, because we're seeing continuing claims are spiking. And this isn't going to go away. And at the same time, delinquency rates on credit card loans are growing. And this is at all of the banks. So what does that mean? Well, quite honestly, that means that we have a lot of problems ahead, because as I said, we've got massive debt that must be serviced. And they're counting on the consumers to continue to service those debts and consume even more. And frankly, that's just not happening. And so as there are more job losses, do you think these delinquencies are going to get better, or do you think they're going to get worse? And if they get worse, what happens to all of the banking system that is extraordinarily fragile? A 25 basis point decline in interest rates, not going to change very much one way or the other, but it'll probably keep you calm. Well, look, they didn't have to spike down on interest rates. We'll see what happens in September, but the setup is quite clear. And in the meantime, I think this is really interesting. Western gold ETFs remained under-owned. So that means in the US and particularly in Europe. And isn't that interesting that we're seeing spot gold rise at the same time that Western, so US and European gold ETF holdings, which isn't really gold anyway, are on the decline. And what this decoupling action tells me is that the push for gold is greater than the manipulation that is already starting. And what we're also seeing is that the central banks are losing control. And they're now in a battle with Wall Street. Who's going to win? Do you think it's possible that some of the things that we talked about today with the decline in employment and an increase in defaults might overwhelm the central bank's ability to hide what is truthfully unfolding? And when do you want to know? Because I want to know it beforehand. That's what I want to know, so I can get into place. Are you going to watch the spot gold market that is so easily manipulated, or the physical only market? This happens to be the PCGS 3000, which is a collectible coin index. It's a collectible coin index. You will find a whole lot more truth when in a physical only market. That breaks out way before the spot market breaks out. And I've shown you in the past that the ultra rarities, which is only the area where the ultra wealthy can play, breaks out first. They know first what's happening because they're sitting in those boardrooms and they're hearing what's actually happening. They're seeing what's actually happening, and they're getting a position to weather this storm. Without any doubt at all, is that paper gold is not physical gold. This, they want you to believe, is money. This is real money. This is the physical market that is used in every single sector of the global economy. So if you haven't done this yet, click that scheduling link below to set up a time to talk to one of our strategy specialists, or scan the QR code. Either way, get in. And by the way, if the time that you want is already taken, call us. 833-GLDZANG, and make sure that you share this video, because if you're looking at Wall Street lies, you're not going to see the truth. And how many times can you be lied to when you do not know the truth? It's this underlying data that I'm showing you that is showing you the truth. It's the physical only coin market, gold coin market, that is showing you the truth. And here's another truth. If we all come together on a global basis, perhaps we will have a shot at having a seat in the table as they're really rolling out, ultimately rolling out, the next monetary system. If you leave it to these guys that have abused your belief and your trust and robbed you, confiscated your work and your wealth since the day you were born, call a strategy specialist. Say, you know, I was born on, my birthday happens to be October 15th of 1954. How much purchasing power has this stuff lost since that period of time? They'll show you. They'll show you from the Federal Reserve, who lies. Their job is to keep you inside of the system, to make your wealth easy to transfer without you understanding. I want us to have a seat at the table, and I'm going to work on making that happen, but I can't do it alone. Come together in global community. Let's start a peaceful and very quiet revolution just by converting your garbage fiat into sound money. And until next we meet, please be safe out there. Bye-bye.